All right, guys. So I guess I'll start off with a couple of changes here. So still going to be running live streams every Friday at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, the usual. But this really won't affect many people because not too many people get involved anyway. But I've found that I get really into and sometimes like addicted to like destroying right wing trolls. It's just so fun, and I don't know. I have a great time because I think they're generally too stupid to understand the extent at which they're owned. But with that being said, it's too much of a good thing. I I'm burning up too much time engaging with right wing trolls. So, and part of this has to do with moderation and discipline, I guess. So, I can't guarantee that I'll succeed, but I'm gonna try. Um, I do my best to respond to pretty much everyone. YouTube has a bad habit of like not even giving notifications for many comments, and I don't have a very large channel. I don't want a very large channel, so that makes it sort of uh, doable. However, sometimes like the lifeless like right wing troll types will just keep on and on and on, and like it's always the same routine. So it's like I make a video, they get triggered over the video, they start shit posting. They never make any substantive arguments or like post anything with any actual logical premises to them. And then I point that out. They get angry over that and they're like, "Oh my god, he pissed me off. Now I have to get back at him." And then they keep shit posting and then I point out that they're proving my point because they're shit posting, and it's really fun, but it just burns up too much fucking time. So, going forward, I'm going to try anyway. Um I'm going to run a sort of, how do I put it, filter across any comments. I'm not going to stop anyone's comments from going through. Of course, I'll still like periodically check the held for review section, and I don't care. I always just put everything through as long as they're not like attacking someone else besides me. Um, but I'm not going to respond to anything that doesn't have substance. How do I define substance? Well, if it's anything like obviously fallacious, like you're like I have premises that I put forth. If I'm making a video, of course, there's going to be certain ideas that I'm tackling in that video. So I expect if you disagree that you're going to try to refute some of those points or explain why any of those points are incorrect. Uh, Even better if you'll provide evidence. But if it's just like some lifeless troll that's like, "Huh, you're stupid," or "Huh, you are," like, let's say I'm posting something or like I'm covering like uh David Pakman, whatever. Like they'll like focus on, "Huh, David Pakman, what a joke." And this is like typical shit. They have no argument, so they try to attack the source, even though that doesn't do anything. And the reason why they do this is because they know they don't know anything. They're gonna lose. They're idiots. But I get locked into it and really enjoy like fucking owning them, as I said. So I have to stop. So I need substance from you people if you want any sort of interaction at all. Otherwise, I'm just going to leave it up, but I'm just going to ignore it entirely. Uh, by this point, it should be extraordinarily obvious. You are not going to trigger me. That's just not going to happen. You're not capable of it, especially in text. You like I've been doing this for fucking way too long. Now, if you want to come up on live stream, you're more than welcome to do that. And I'll just be honest, you have a chance of triggering me. You might succeed. Like there, you actually have a possibility of succeeding in what you're trying to do. Good luck. But outside of that, all this comment shit, dude, I graduated from that like fucking 15 years ago, dude. Like, like, I'm sorry, like, I'm not even trying to be a dick. Like, you can't do what you're trying to do. It's a waste of all of our time. So yeah. Then again, sometimes I just can't fucking help myself, and I'll have some weak moments where I just want to fucking go off on and fucking own these people. So with that out of the way, this one is about Bernie Sanders, and he has done what no one on the left has been able to do. We've got fucking well, AOC's been doing a very good job. I think AOC and Bernie are pretty much the only people like showing up, telling people what they want to hear, etc. To the point where there are many people who are traditionally right-wingers that are just completely they already got pissed because they realized that like Trump lied. Trump told them all this shit, and like of course he's doing exactly what Bernie said. And that goes into this as well. People are realizing all of the shit they talked and all the shit that like the right talked about Bernie and how he's crazy and all that. Everything that he claimed would happen has come true. And now everyone's like, fuck, like Bernie was right. So he's doing this, let me quickly check, Fighting Oligarchy tour. It's a nationwide tour, and it is doing phenomenally well. He's been like so far in like Midwest states that are like either purple or they're actually red, and he's drawing in record numbers. It's like insane. So I guess first I want to pull up at least a little bit of this video. It's worth noting most of the videos that Bernie himself are putting out and like big name YouTube fucking channels and shit, they're getting millions of views. Like no one, Jeffries, fucking pretty much any big name traditional fucking establishment Democrat can't come close. They can't even pull 1/3 of what Bernie's doing right now. And a big part of it is because people aren't stupid. They realize that Democrats aren't doing shit. They're fucking useless. But Bernie is telling people what they know is true and what they want to hear. So, yeah, let me pull this up. All right. I'm not going to play the whole thing. I mainly want to show you the extent of this fucking crowd. This is like the kind of crowd that makes fucking Donald Trump cry because that's all he cares about.
Let me begin by thanking all of you for coming out. What a turnout. Thank you very much. Through housing. We are the richest country in the history of the world. There is nothing we cannot accomplish when we come together.
So, this was in Nebraska, this particular one that I just got done playing, but he also had one in Omaha, or that is Omaha, sorry, in Idaho. And it's just holy shit. So a big part of this, in my opinion, is, like I said, people realize that all the shit that he's been claiming for years and years and years, and he has never changed his views, not once, not at all. He's been fucking pushing the exact same message ever since he's fucking been in politics, which is a holy fuck amount of time. But so in Omaha, they had an overflow crowd of more than 2,500 people, with hundreds of them being turned away because they just couldn't fit anymore. And that doesn't count like the people watching via live stream. So like again, even people on the right are fed up with fucking the lies and the bullshit, and they put their hopes in on fucking Donald Trump, and found, of course, that he's a fucking liar. And at this point, and like right now anyway, I'm not even talking shit about them. Like legit, you believed him, you thought that he was gonna fight for, you know, the working class and shit. And of course he lied. That's what he does. But I'm not even trying to rub that in. It's just like, it's great that there's at least people finally catching on and going, what the fuck? And realizing that essentially Musk has pulled a coup, and fucking Trump he's a radical fucking fascist. And even some of the people that were just like laughing and calling it exaggeration when we call it before, now they're like, damn, they were right. He is. So this is like a massive fucking thing, and it's only just beginning. I don't really want to cover much more on that. One of his main messages is that 60% of Americans are living paycheck to paycheck, while rich people are receiving tax cuts. And of course, this is like, while all of the establishment dims, you'll notice that they don't mention these things. And a big part of that is because they rely on funding from wealthy people just as much as the fucking right does. Well, not just as much, but almost as much as the right does. Obviously, Republicans are the party of the rich. They will never, ever be for the working class, because you're fucking, these two classes are polar opposites in terms of issues, like actual policy decisions. Like you're never going to get what you want by fucking getting billionaires and in office, for one, and then having that billionaire fucking have tons of other billionaires with him during his fucking inauguration. Again, wherein normally you would have the president surrounded by his fucking what the fuck is it called? I can't think of the word. They're I can't think of it, but basically all the people that all their important positions and shit that make up, yeah, the like the department or the head of state, all that good shit. Yeah, but Trump is surrounded by billionaires. That right there should tell you all you need to know. And people are finally starting to wake the fuck up. And it is sweeping the fucking nation. And it's great because it spells doom for Trump and his fucking oligarchic fucking fascist bullshit. And Elon Musk, of course. Play one more, and this is one of the very popular fucking messages that Bernie has been spreading. This one's one of the more recent ones. Just a moment. Nope, that's the wrong one. There it is.
Often find myself in the habit of thanking Elon Musk.
but I must confess that he has done an exceptional job of demonstrating a point that a few of us have been making for years, and that is the reality that we live in an oligarchic society in which billionaires dominate not only our politics and the information we consume from media, but our government and economic lives as well. That has never been clearer than it is today. But given the news and attention Mr. Musk has been getting over the last few weeks as he illegally and unconstitutionally dismantles government agencies, I think it is an appropriate time to ask the question that the media and most politicians don't seem to be asking. What do he and other multi-billionaires really want? What is their end game? In my opinion, what Musk and those around them are aggressively striving for is not novel, it is not complicated, and it is not new. It is what ruling classes throughout history have always wanted and have always believed is theirs by right. More power, more control, and more wealth. And they don't want ordinary people, that's you, and democracy getting in their way. They want it all. Elon Musk and his fellow oligarchs believe government and laws are simply an impediment to their interests and what they are entitled to. In pre-revolutionary America, before the 1770s, the ruling class governed through a doctrine called the divine rights of kings. The belief that the King of England was an agent of God and he was not to be questioned by mere mortals. In modern times, we no longer have the divine right of kings. What we now have is an ideology being pushed by the oligarchs, which says that as very, very wealthy people, often self-made, often as the masters of revolutionary new technology, it is their absolute right to rule. In other words, these modern-day oligarchs are our kings. And it is not just power, it's incredible wealth that they have. Today, Mr. Musk is worth $402 billion. Zuckerberg is worth $252 billion. Bezos is worth $249 billion. With combined wealth of over $900 billion, these three people own more wealth than the bottom half of American society. Not surprisingly, since Trump was elected, their wealth has soared. Musk has become $138 billion richer. Zuckerberg has become $49 billion richer. And Bezos has become $28 billion richer, all since Election Day. Meanwhile, while the very rich become much richer, 60% of Americans live paycheck to paychecks. 85 million are uninsured or underinsured. 25% of seniors are trying to survive on $15,000 a year or less. 800,000 are homeless, and we have the highest rate of childhood poverty of almost any major country on earth. Do you think for 1 second that the oligarchs give a damn about working people? Trust me, they don't. Musk's decision to dismember USAID means that tens of thousands of the poorest people around the world will go hungry or die of preventable diseases. But it's not just abroad. Here in the United States, they will soon be going after the healthcare, nutrition, housing, and educational programs that protect the most vulnerable people in our country, all so that Congress can provide huge tax breaks for them and their fellow billionaires. As modern-day kings who believe they have the absolute right to rule, they will sacrifice without hesitation the well-being of working people to protect their interests. Further, they will use the enormous media operations they own to deflect attention away from the impact of their policies while they entertain us to death. Mr. Musk owns Twitter. Mr. Zuckerberg owns Meta, which includes Facebook and Instagram, and Mr. Bezos owns the Washington Post and Twitch. Further, They and their fellow oligarchs will continue to spend huge amounts of money to buy politicians in both major political parties. Bottom line, the oligarchs, with their enormous resources, are waging a war against the working class of this country, and it is a war that they are intent on winning. Now, I'm not going to kid you. The problems this country faces right now are extremely serious. The economy is rigged. Our campaign finance system is corrupt. And we are struggling to control climate change, an existential threat to our planet, among many, many other important issues. But this is what I do know. The worst fear that the ruling class in this country has is that Americans, Black, white, Latino, urban and rural, gay and straight, young and old, that all of us will come together to demand a government that represents all of the people in our country, not just the wealthy few. The oligarch's nightmare is that we do not allow ourselves to be divided up by race, religion, sexual orientation, or country of origin, and will together have the courage to take them on. Will this struggle be easy? Absolutely not. And one of the reasons for that is that the ruling class of this country will constantly remind you that they have all the power. They control the government. They own the media. You want to take us on? Good luck, they will say. There is nothing you can do about it. But our job right now, in these very difficult times, is to not forget the great struggles and sacrifices that millions of people have waged over the several centuries to create a more democratic, just, and humane society. Think about it. Over the last number of centuries, how many people have stood up and fought? And when they were doing that, you know what their contemporaries said? They said, hey, you want to overthrow the King of England to create a new nation and self-rule? Forget about it. Impossible. You want to establish universal suffrage, right of all people to vote? Impossible. Can't happen. You want to end slavery and segregation? Impossible. You want to grant workers the right to form unions and end child labor? Can't be done. Impossible. You want to give women control over their own bodies? Who are you kidding? Impossible. Can't be done. You want to pass legislation to establish Social Security, Medicare, Medicaid, a minimum wage, clean air and water standards? Impossible. In other words, as Nelson Mandela told us, everything is impossible until it is done. In these difficult times, despair is not an option. We've got to fight back in every way we can. We have to get involved in the political process, run for office, connect with our local, state, and federal legislators, donate to candidates who will fight for the working class of this country. We have got to create new channels for communication and information sharing. We have to volunteer not just politically, but to build community locally. Whatever we can do is what we must do. Needless to say, I intend to do my part, both inside the Beltway and traveling throughout the country, to stand up for working families and to take on the oligarchy. In the days, weeks, and months ahead, I hope you will join me in that struggle. We can win, we will win, we must win. Thank you very much.
Good stuff. And most importantly, I mean, I've kind of been on Bernie's team the entire time, ever since he ran for office, at least. But the important thing is that people who traditionally saw him as crazy, as an extremist, as radical, etc., are starting to follow him. And At this point, it's too late. Like, Trump can't do anything about it. Even if he were to try to pull like a Putin or something and like fucking shut down media and make it to where no one can hear Bernie, it wouldn't work. It's too late. He would have had to have like pulled some shit like that like months ago. People are already awake. And it's a great thing because many people have needed some little shred of fucking hope for quite some time now, and they sure as fuck couldn't get it from what you've got. Kamala Harris, who was like the champion of like the left, and I say that with disdain, by the way. And as she talks about how it's literally democracy on the line, and she was right about that. But the point is, she talks about how democracy's on the line when she's running, and then Trump wins, and then she's silent. She's gone. She's nowhere to be fucking found. You've got like idiots everywhere fucking running the DNC. Morons. Just fucking sitting on their hands and going, guys, there's nothing we can do. There's like, we don't have the Supreme Court. We don't have Congress. We don't have the White House. What do you want us to do? I'll point out the obvious here. When the tables were turned and when Dems had fucking pretty much everything, the right never, ever fucking was like, well, there's nothing we can do. No, they fought. They fought every fucking step of the way. They would do filibusters and all sorts of whatever the fuck they could possibly do. Democrats aren't doing that except for like fucking Bernie Sanders and AOC. That's it. And that tells you who they are. And it tells you that they don't really give a fuck. That like all they care about is their funding. And even that's in peril now, but it's probably too fucking late for them. Like people already realize who they are. Anyhow, I'll provide the relevant links in the description. Thank you for your time.